It's been a couple weeks, ladies and gentlemen, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Woohoo! The return of the CrushCast. Happy Rusev Day, everybody. I, of course, am AphroditesCrush here, along with.
I don't have a nickname, so I'm just Ian.
All right. Okay, just Ian. There you go. That's your nickname.
Yeah. Just like
You now get to change your Twitter handle to just Ian.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
What's been going on with you, man?
Work, man. We're prepping for Black Friday. I've been getting some work done on a couple of different projects. Right bit's going well. I actually just figured out a couple things for that. The YouTube channel's undergone a couple different things too, as far as some different style of videos that I've been putting up lately.
Okay.
So that'll lead me to my first big announcement, probably actually the only big announcement so far today. That's every week you'll get at least one cardio confessions a week, which means at the very least from here on out, and even going through the holiday season, I was sitting down sick a couple of weeks, so we're back in the swing of things. So Sunday nights or Sunday afternoons, depending, you will get the CrushCast, and either Monday or Tuesday, have not decided which, probably Monday, you're going to get a cardio confessions video. So I kind of swiped that thought process from Mark Lobliner. So thanks, Mark, even though you don't know it. So
he gave you the idea for that?
Yeah, because he does pretty much the same thing.
Oh, okay. That's cool, man.
Yep. So yeah, it's pretty awesome, pretty freaking awesome. So I at some point I want to be able to get up to 3 to 4 videos a week. So starting off with something that I generally do, along with something new that I want to incorporate within my workouts, and possibly having like one taste test video a week or something like that, will work to kind of expand the outreach of the channel. So
okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, what kind of protein thing would you recommend for someone like me that's, just like a starting out or whatever, nothing like hardcore?
So many people who do supplements will tell you to go for the absolute top shelf protein that they love so much. And I myself, I use I can manage to grow from Iron Addicts, which, by the way, I'm an Iron Addicts Iron Addicts Nation member. N10 Douglas R, get you 10% off your order. But there is nothing wrong with a beginner going with some basic proteins. To be quite truthful, most beginners don't need a protein supplement. They just need to work on the protein that they do eat to make sure it's nice, clean protein. If you're eating chicken, for instance, fried chicken, you want to go with skinless, boneless. Stay away from the chicken tenders with the breadings. Tuna and light mayonnaise is a good combination. Really light mayonnaise. So when I was first starting out, I ate tuna fish straight. So that was something that, especially if you're on a budget, drain out tuna fish, and there you go. The albacore is going to be probably the most affordable out there. So that's probably what I'd start with. Simple proteins, nothing too extraneous. You don't need to go with protein powder just yet.
All right.
Half of the YouTube fitness community goes, oh, don't you want to have a protein shake first time when you get up? Come on.
And when you decide to, though, what would you recommend? Because I'm sure there's different levels, a way you could get.
It's all about your standard protein content. Some people go with just a basic protein powder, which means they go with probably a stalwart brand. A brand has probably been out there forever, like a house brand. Some go with a protein that has a lot of different other ingredients in it, like different branched chain amino acids, vitamin ingredients as well. So if you're really looking to improve not only the type of protein that you get, but also your general health, going with a protein that has some other additives with it wouldn't be a horrible idea.
Right.
But the protein's protein. I like taking multivitamins separately myself than my protein. So like I don't go with a whole bunch of like, for instance, I'll actually bring up the I Command You to Grow. So let's see. Excuse me. So the I Command You to Grow protein. This is a couple things that I'm going to point out to you that's on a standard nutrition facts label that you'll probably want to look at. Serving size, so 32 grams per scoop, and servings per container about 28. Now, the reason why I say this is you can actually go to your local Kroger and get a brand called Muscle Blast. You can see my first taste of Muscle Blast on the channel. This thing is about the size. The actual container is about the size of an I Command You to Grow container. An I Command You to Grow container has about 28 servings of protein. The Muscle Blast has 9.
Okay.
9, as in 9 cups of protein.
Wow.
Insane. Value to price. Value to price. Also, with the I Command You to Grow protein, you get 4% of your total fat, 8% of your total saturated fat, 18% of your cholesterol, 8% of your sodium, 8% of your potassium, 1% of your carbohydrates, 2% of your dietary fiber, and 48% of your protein, which is, of course, based on a 2,000 calorie diet. 2% of vitamin A, 15% calcium, and 2% iron. Now, that in comparison to, like, say, I'll go with your standard shelf protein, like say Body Fortress. Now, Body Fortress, the way that protein is a very basic protein as well. That kind of protein is extensively mass produced, and is generally known as, to most people, trash protein. Now, what I'll say about that is some people don't need bodybuilder level proteins. It's not needed, but it's something nice to have. If you want to load up on this stuff and go for 1 to 2 servings a day, be my guest. Everybody's different. It really is.
Yeah. Right.
However, if somebody wants to just pull a tub of Body Fortress off the shelf, they're probably getting a little bit more fat, which I'm actually pulling up the product stuff right now. Actually right here, super advanced whey protein. Now, this stuff, 30 grams of protein per serving. Actually also has a blend of creatine and amino acids as well. And that's pretty much the base on that, which I'm not finding any actual label on it, unfortunately. But it kind of gives you a general idea. Oh, there it is, be a product label. Now, for Body Fortress, they like to add a bunch of stuff. 1 scoop, 50 grams, but 18 serving size, or 18 servings per container. 210 calories, 45 from fat, 5 grams of total fat, 2.5 grams of saturated fat, 125 milligrams of cholesterol, 8 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of dietary fiber, 4 grams of sugars, which I Command You to Grow had under 1%, 30 grams of protein, which is 60% of your daily value, 132 milligrams of calcium, 115 of phosphorus, 31 of magnesium, 110 of sodium, and 260 of potassium. Now, not only that, they also have a typical amino acid profile, which, of course, your essential amino acids are like essentially they work in conjunction with protein to have building blocks of muscle. A lot of these are also built into a lot of the foods that you eat. So, amino acids is really a big buzzword for a lot of brands. I know this is getting long-winded, but there are some people who don't take amino acids at all. Some people like me, I only take amino acids when I work out. That's it. I don't drink it during the day really, unless I'm not feeling full. Amino acids kind of help keep you full and kind of help the engine rolling a little bit. But some people will throw it into the protein. So you're seeing different styles and different this and different that of proteins and how it affects different people. And that's not even getting into beef protein if you're lactose intolerant and you don't want to have to deal with isolate, which whey protein isolate is more expensive. You have soy protein. But soy protein in men is actually known to up your levels of or lower your testosterone levels and raise your estrogen levels.
Yeah, I heard that, like, for a lot of people that just do nothing but soy, that could be pretty bad for you.
Yeah, that'll actually that can actually lead to hair loss and actually give you what's play? I can't remember the name of it. That's there's an actual medical term for it. I can't remember the name of it. Gynecomastia.
Yeah. Now this might be a newbie question, but what do you actually put it in? They call them protein shakes, but they don't put them in like a milkshake or whatever, right?
Well, again, everyone's different. Myself, one thing I've done, tried and true, for years, is your standard serving of milk, scoop of your protein, and then if you have anything else to add in, feel free. Like one thing I have bought recently, which I've been adding in, is I have a little can't remember the name of it. It's really good. It's really popular, but it's essentially greens. You get one serving of greens. So you're supposed to be allotted a minimum of one serving of greens per day at the bare minimum. And
what are greens?
Your leafy greens, vegetables essentially.
Oh, okay.
Greens and vegetables. So this stuff, little scoop, boop, pop into your protein shake. Affects the taste a little bit, but you can choke it down. It's not that bad. But some people, they use water, powder. That's it. Nothing else. So
okay.
There's a real dichotomy. Like I know a lot of people seem to think that, well, all bodybuilders and everybody who works out, they do this, and this. And that's really not the case. Every person who walks into the supplement game, is what I like to call it, sees things a little bit differently. And what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa, and round and round we go. So you're really going to have to see what works for you. Some people find that milk makes a protein shake too filling, so they can't finish it. Some people find that water is so light and it soups it down and it makes it taste like you're essentially drinking flavored water and not in a good way.
Yeah.
But some people also,
What about the fruit mixes? Like you do in the blender or whatever.
Now, if you do a fruit mix, that's different too. Some people they'll mix in the other fruits. Like when I was mixing in for protein shakes, like when I didn't have protein powder, and this is a good little trick for you. A good little option to kind of go with if you're low, if you don't have any protein powder, or like obviously you probably don't have any now. So one good thing to do is like a cup of oats, a teaspoon or tablespoon of peanut butter, some fresh fruit, or I used frozen fruit, stuff you can buy from the store, of course. Yeah. And I can't remember if it was milk or water that I used, but mix up in a blender, and then there's your protein shake. Some people, they don't believe in protein powders and they go all natural for their shakes.
Yeah, just do the steak diet, right?
How I wish I could. You have no idea. So,
Why couldn't you do it?
huh?
Or just do the steak or just the chicken type of thing or whatever. Which like just nothing but like pure healthy meat, I guess.
But there's some people who also believe that, you know, you should go the way of the vegetarian or the way of the vegan, and it's like everyone's all like, So, but these are things that you will go through and you'll experience on your own. I can't really give you any particular advice except to see what avenues work for you and what works for your body, because I can tell you 100%. If you're lactose intolerant, you now are in an entire different scope of the land, because I'm lactose intolerant. So not only do I have to be conscious of what proteins I buy, well, I used to be super conscious of it because I would be using like lactose-free milk with a protein powder and I'd still get messed up. And I would be like, well, okay, so here's what I'll do. I actually have lactate, which is actually cheaper than buying lactose-free milk. I'll tell you that straight off the cuff. But lactate with my protein shake, I'm fine. One thing I do always use as kind of a backup too is a standard fiber supplement. Fiber One bars work perfectly fine. No, it gets you your fiber intake. It gets you something that doesn't taste like cardboard. So, but again, no, if you have any type of a gastrointestinal issue that you are addressing right now or going to address, that you have to factor that in.
Yeah. The only thing I'm allergic to is the peanut butter, so I couldn't put the peanut butter in there, like you're saying.
Well, you're allergic to peanut butter, so which means you may have to pay a little bit of attention if you do end up going to a protein powder, because a lot of protein powders use factories that process peanuts. So that's going to be something you're going to want to have to look into. There's so many different ways to go about it that it's really easy to find, in some cases, a good supplement regimen to get on, and or a good supplement product that you really have a lot of trust in.
There's no one size fits all, though, huh?
Yeah, there really isn't.
For fitness, that's why a lot of people have personal trainers and stuff, right?
Yeah, no. A lot of people have personal trainers. The supplement game is also extremely vast. So vast, in fact, I've been doing this for 3-4 years at least, hardcore, off and on. And only now have I actually gotten to a point where I like the supplements I take and the workouts that I do are all working in a nice cohesive type of unit. Back when I was younger, I'd try pretty much anything to see if it actually worked for me. And now I'm at the point where I know this will probably work. I know this definitely works. And I know this I stay away from.
That's cool, man. Now you said you're preparing for Black Friday or whatever at your store. Like, what kind of deals were they having?
Just your standard sports fare. That's really the main thing, of course. We're a sports store. So you're looking at everything from your standard apparel to weaponry to shoes. Shoes are whew. So
What about the Iron Addicts? You said they're having a deal for Black Friday?
Yeah, we just got a lot of stuff going on. We've been low on people, so everyone is like trying to kick as much ass as possible. So
yeah, that's cool. Anything else going on before your main topic?
Not really. Besides the YouTube thing and just making sure we get out some good content. So
Yeah. Myself, I was watching last night at the first few episodes of that Punisher.
I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. Which when we get off air and I might start the Punisher tonight, at least the first episode or two, just to see how well it pops off. Because I've heard nothing but good things about it, and the Punisher is one of my favorite Marvel characters. So to actually hear like everybody love it so much, beginning to end, is like that. And I even really like both Punisher movies, or all three Punisher movies, I guess I should say. The original with Dolph Lundgren, the second with Thomas Jane, and then the third with, I can't remember his name offhand. I can never remember his name. But Punisher Warzone is the name of the movie. So I'm...
Yeah, that was the recent one I saw, was the Dolph Lundgren one, because I never saw it, so I decided to check it out.
See, that one's actually my favorite, believe it or not. I love that one. It's just like, that was one of the first comic book movies I ever saw, and I'm like, this is fantastic. So it's just great.
That's cool. Do you know when is the series supposed to take place, as far as compared to with the Daredevil, because he had a big role in the Daredevil show too? So
I don't know. I don't know.
That's cool. Also, I watched that Thor movie. That was pretty good.
Thor's fantastic. Which, speaking of fantastic movies that you should probably see, pick this bad baby up this week.
Oh yeah.
This right here has cracked my top 10 movies of all time. Straight up. No joke. No kidding. It just is one of the best movies I've ever seen, because it appeals to so much that I'm interested in, as far as how filmmaking is done, as far as how it sets the stage. Everything about that movie is just perfect. And it even, and I know it's going to sound weird, but it even exceeds perfection in the ending. I can't say anything about it because it'll spoil pretty much everything in the movie.
Right.
But it's just beginning to end. There's nothing bad about this movie that I could say. Even on the second run through, because I watched it with my wife, and I'm just like, this is perfect. This is everything that I ever wanted Bond to be, everything I ever wanted John Wick to be, even though John Wick and John Wick Chapter 2 are great movies. Like, Atomic Blonde is like that much better for me. It just is.
Do you think, like, if they ever did like a remake, do you think she would be a good Kill Bill?
I don't think so, just because how she approaches action is a little bit different than how Uma Thurman approaches action.
Hmm. Are you still pretty loyal to Uma Thurman, or do you take her or leave her as far as an actress?
Oh, Uma Thurman's fantastic. Fantastic.
I wonder how come you haven't seen her in like a whole lot of movies in the past decade.
She's been doing a lot of independent movies. That's one thing I was noticing. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, she can basically do whatever she wants, and
yeah.
But like Atomic Blonde, Charlize Theron actually helped produce that. She's one of the producers on the movie, so like, that's what you're seeing a lot of these styles, to where it's just you're seeing a lot of better conceptualized movies these past couple of years, which is nice, very nice.
But actually, I did watch that. That movie, the Atomic Blonde. I liked all the scenes where they were doing, like, they were fighting and like they were pretty much like destroying the the apartment or whatever.
Yeah, like that was just like, oh, and like the cuts in the stairwell fight scene
Yeah,
are, you almost can't tell. You, well, on the first run through, I couldn't tell where they were, and I'm like, and I didn't even think about it the second time I saw it, just because I'm like, this fight scene is still awesome, still badass, and still is one of the best fight scenes I think I've ever seen. And I'm normally not even an action guy. I'm 9 times out of 10 I can take it or leave it in most movies, but action wise, it delivers. It's very satisfying action delivery, basically kind of like Kill Bill in that aspect. It's just it has it in the movie, but it's not the focal point, 24/7. So
yeah, I mean, like that guy was tough though too, because he like put like a set of keys in his face and he just like left it in there.
yep, that's hilarious. So so speaking of action, and how we're talking about comic books, Justice League opened this weekend, and the
Oh
internet
boy.
is pissed off. Not for the reasons of what you might think. The movie hasn't gotten the most rave reviews, but I think part of that is due to a little bit of Marvel bias in some of the media, mostly because of them wanting something that Justice League was not obviously going to be. They wanted they wanted something a little bit more cartoony, and they're not going to give cartoony because it's DC. You have to know what you're expecting. So the critics didn't like it that much. The audience wasn't the biggest fan of it because they didn't even crack 100 million this weekend. Overseas, it's done almost 300 million, but U.S. theaters, it's dead in the water. So now everyone is on both sides of this, where like they deserved it. Why are people being this way? You know what I mean? So we're now seeing this kind of fanboy, piss boy power struggle on the internet. It's hilarious. It's a weird thing because like it doesn't look bad, and to those who've seen it, they don't think it's that bad. However,
No, I heard it picks up towards like the middle end or whatever.
and like some critics are lauding it for that, but some critics are like, well, it's a little boring in spots, and it's a little this, a little that, so I can't recommend it. So it's very much one of those movies where it's going to be you love it or you hate it, I think.
Well, they said they cut it down from 2 hours and 40 minutes to just 2 hours, I think. And I think maybe it was like too much to fit in to 2 hours or something. I don't know. I haven't seen it either yet, but like from my point of view, it seems like maybe they haven't. It was too soon maybe for it. Like they didn't set up for it that good yet.
Well, I tend to question them not doing something more with Cyborg and Aquaman instead of just hi.
Yeah.
That's really my biggest point of contention. That and Aquaman sucks, but
And also my complaint is why didn't they use some of the actors that are still doing the characters like the Flash? You could have. Don't you think he would have been good on a big screen as well as the small screen?
that's what really kind of perplexes me. I think they could have made it a shared universe. And the fact that they chose not to is really confusing to me. I would have rather had a shared universe. I would rather have the movies tie in with the television shows, but I mean, obviously, they decided that it wasn't worth it. But I'm not going to use that as a detractor for the film. As
Right.
much as I dislike Batman vs Superman, I can't use that movie as leverage against a movie I haven't seen yet. So
Well, the one thing that they did, I think, was a good thing for the the Avengers is they led up to it. They gave hints that it was going to be coming.
yeah.
You know.
I am on the side that says that they just rushed into it too quickly, but
Yeah.
you have a movie now, so you have to deal with what the movie is. I Part of the reason why I wasn't like super stoked for it was I think the movie will suffer due to lack of buildup as far as the story goes, but that also remains to be seen as far as how it works out within the scope of the movie. So,
yeah, from what I heard, they really didn't invest too much time in, like each character, like individually, or
yeah.
like their interactions together. Like they said they had some kind of funny jokes between the characters, but yeah. So I don't know. And what's unfortunate too is I don't know if your listeners have watched our episode this weekend, but we talked about that Gal Gadot or whatever, about her ultimatum with the director.
Yeah, that's all over the internet as far as Gal Gadot not wanting Brett Ratner on the project anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much more you can do with that as far as that particular situation goes. It's not something that can be easily resolved for both parties. So, but I really liked Wonder Woman. It was a good movie, but again, it's not something you can use towards or against the existing movie that's out in theaters right now. So,
yeah. Well, who directed the Justice League?
Huh?
Who directed Justice League?
Well, it's actually a little bit of a dual effort because Zack Snyder had to leave the project and Joss Whedon came in and finished it.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably going to be the closest thing to an answer I can give you. Sorry.
Well, Joss Whedon did the Avengers too, so he's doing these team-up movies, which is crazy.
But again, I mean, they're totally different in style, complexity, and just character initiative as a whole. In my opinion, so we'll like I said, we'll see. I'm hoping to see it tomorrow or Tuesday, hopefully. So
okay, you could give us a review on that, Yeah,
probably. And the trash bag review of Ghostbusters is still upcoming.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah,
like what's going on with that?
Because I don't have to worry about actually going out and renting this son of a bitch, because now it's sitting in my Movies Anywhere account whether I freaking want it there or not. So
yeah, you don't have to waste a penny on it.
Yeah. Hey, Movies Anywhere, right there.
All right. What's what's going on with the YouTube stuff then? I guess I want to get into that.
Well, like I said earlier, I want to be able to long term be able to hit about 3 to 4 videos a week. Different styles, different formatting as far as that goes. But I want to be able to at some point also be able to upload some workout vids, just quick clips, maybe 4 to 7 minutes in length. Mostly because I don't think everybody wants to watch somebody work out for 25 minutes. A lot of the guys I follow now or used to follow on YouTube do these 35-minute workout videos, and I'm like, I'm tired of watching this at 10 minutes in. I like bullet points. I want to see somebody getting some gains in, but half an hour is not going to motivate me. 4 to 7 minutes to be able to motivate somebody in a video, I think that's a little bit more reasonable to me.
Are you going to do those kind of videos that like Furious Pete does, where he does like the road to 700-pound deadlift or whatever?
I don't really have a particular goal at the moment. I'm kind of in between goals. So the idea right now is just to be able to get a lot of the strength that I lost for like the 3 weeks that I was down. I still have a little bit of the kind of cut, the vascularity here and there, but my body's now having to readjust to get back into the game. I might be able to go to the Arnold this year, hopefully, but this depends on what happens. So I might have one of those. My goal is day before the Arnold, and of course, have a weight goal and maybe like a bench goal or something like that. But for me right now, it's not about these kind of concrete goals. It's about being able to give back to this kind of community that's helped me out a lot. So the cardio confessions, again, it's probably going to be a Monday or Tuesday thing. People are going to start getting those once a week. So I'm stoked. I also had a week of vacation a couple weeks back at the end of October. So, but that also is like that kind of bookended me getting ready to get sick. So getting back in this kind of groove and, having the battery pretty much 100% recharged and having a lot of these ideas in my head is going to work long-term to help the life of this channel. And if everything goes well, I might even start up a Patreon to do different things like different first tastes and pick up different products and whatnot. That's something I've been thinking about for a while, and if I'm able to change and grow this channel a little bit more, that's probably going to be something that we might get into next year. So
okay, yeah, I recently watched Pete's more recent video of he helped manufacture a 420-pound dumbbell. Actually, it's like the world's heaviest dumbbell. It's just like solid steel.
So 420 pounds?
Yeah.
Are you sure that's the world's heaviest?
Well, it was like a custom-made dumbbell where it's all pretty much like one piece.
Huh.
It was like really huge. Wait, a one-handed dumbbell, I mean.
Yep, that is the world's largest dumbbell. Yeah. And not by much, though. Because the guy who, I can never remember his name, but he used to do a lot of videos of Rich Piana, did bent over rows with a 370-pound dumbbell. So,
yeah.
So, speaking of Rich Piana and the fitness YouTube community,
what do you guys say about him?
We only got about 15 minutes left, so I'm going to use this 15 minutes to rant just a little bit.
Well, also, I would mention the YouTube, but really I was talking about, you wanted to talk about the YouTube demonetization or whatever. You had mentioned that.
It kind of goes into that a little bit.
Okay.
There is a reason why YouTube went on the demonetization kick earlier this year. And a lot of people are like, well, it's horrible, it sucks, it's bad for creators. I was on YouTube the day after Rich Piana's autopsy report was released. And it was like whoosh. I mean, like even worse than right after he passed, people are like, well, he was doing this, he was doing this, he was doing this. And then the autopsy report gets released. And all of a sudden it's, well, that shows he was probably doing this, he was doing this, he was doing this, he was doing this. People, this entire community that we work and live in every single day, and something that Rich Piana, literally up until the day he died, gave to this community, and it's almost insulting in a lot of ways about how we treat the people who create content because of the controversy surrounding his death. it became this kind of like not even a media hoopla. It was more of a sub media hoopla. Because to be honest, YouTube is sub media. Even though we paint ourselves as mainstream a lot of times, we're really not. The only big mainstream YouTubers are guys like Philip DeFranco, and a couple other guys whose, of course, names escape me because you don't think of YouTubers as being a legit media outlet. There's not a lot of us, and I wouldn't even consider this channel or any other direct channel that I know of, the apologies included, but we're not media outlets. You know what I mean? We are not experts on toxicology reports and standard autopsy reports and different types of arrhythmia in bodybuilders. We drove this entire story about the death of Rich Piana and are even still driving it. Most likely, people probably uploading videos at this very moment to the website. So how can anybody be surprised when YouTube is demonetizing channels? How is this disconnect really working? How can you have a working disconnect between you and the policy? Because when YouTube said we're not allowing these types of channels to exist anymore, and I'm not really speaking specifically to you, Ian, but I'm just saying in general, like, how can anybody justify basically trying to scam views off of another person's passing? Like, I'm not going to put this in the description of the video. Why? Because this is more of a heart-to-heart here, YouTube. It almost boggles the mind sometimes that we actually have to talk about things like this. Someone passes and people race for views on the passing of that person. And this is the guy who just a couple years ago did a video talking about people using his name for attention on YouTube and Twitter and so on and so forth, Instagram, Snapchat. Now, YouTube is streamlining a lot of these policies and also fighting back against people who are erroneously using the demonetization attempts to essentially, quiet detractors and to quiet critics. But can we really be surprised? How can we honestly look at ourselves truthfully and say, oh, we're being targeted? Well, you're damn right you're being targeted because you're putting out shitty content. It's not the point of an individual being targeted. It's a point of your content style being targeted. You have to grow. You have to evolve. When I started this channel, I started with essentially doing tech reviews, and that was it. That's all I cared about. Time grew on. Time changed. I got into the first taste a little bit more. Got into the heart-to-hearts a little bit more. Got into the podcasting. Really bad podcasting for a while, but it was still a progression. It was still moving forward. It was evolving, and people who do nothing but sit in front of a mic and talk shit don't help the cause. They don't help themselves. And people who, in companies, Nintendo, that prey on regular YouTubers to try to use the YouTube's policies against spam and drama and hate speech, using those policies to try to silence people that they don't agree with or that they feel they own somebody else's content because they said their names, Nintendo. You can't be surprised when that policy also works against you if you're trying to take someone else's content down.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing is there is victims on YouTube. There are victims on YouTube.
Yes. And that's on both sides of the coin. People who are putting out legit content and people who are just not putting out legit content but still reaping the benefits. It's the point of when does intelligence come into play and when do people actually start using it? we all need to use intelligence when we create content. You know, nothing that we put on this on this medium comes with zero consequence. It all comes with a consequence if it's something that is, you know, working as hate speech or working to bring down somebody else. You have the right of free speech in the US of A, but that free speech does not come without consequence.
Well, also, it doesn't really, that free speech doesn't really apply to YouTube because YouTube is a private company. So technically, they could, you know, like get rid of you for whatever you say, I suppose, you know, at the end of the day.
And if you're spouting out hate speech, they will.
Yeah.
They will eliminate you.
What's unfortunate, though, is I don't know if you saw recently in the news, people are abusing the algorithm, too, at the same time. Like, they're putting out a lot of these kids shows with, like, obscene content in the kids things, even though they put in all the kids stuff inside of the descriptions and the metadata and stuff. And then you watch in the middle of it, there's, like, Spider-Man is, like, grabbing Catwoman's boobs or something in the middle of the show.
But again, you know, that's people using the system to their advantage and others' disadvantage, because each person who does something like that is taking a legit view from somebody else, whether it's a company or it's an individual. And that's on both sides. So
it's all just a cluster F right now. That's what it really seems like.
Well, the only thing that I'll say also to that is there's some YouTubers who think that they're being unfairly voted out of the process. To that, I say this. I do this myself as fun. I do this on my extra time. If I have to work, I don't shoot. If I have to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning and it's Sunday night, I'll either push the podcast to the next day, or I'll make it earlier. Or if it happens to be a situation where I can't shoot, I can't shoot. It's simple as that. I understand how people like to own their own business, and that's something I'm working on myself. Hopefully owning a business next year, which of course will invariably change the type of content I'd create here on YouTube because of the business I'm getting into. However, owning your own business also means diversification, evolving, growing, changing. You have to understand that this right here, this screen that we get to project through, is never a guarantee. And
right.
And some people saying, well, YouTube's taking away my livelihood. Well, YouTube is also the reason you have a livelihood to begin with. And we've sat on our laurels for a long time. We've been given a lot of play on this rope for a long, long time.
Well, I agree that YouTube, your YouTube profile it's not a really good business model in its of itself, because it's a change before, it's changing now, it's gonna change. It might not even be here in 10 years, so you really have to make your own business model.
And the people who say, okay, well, I understand that YouTube's a business, blah, 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 and I'm switching to Vimeo or UCam or YouNow or blah, blah. That's diversification. If you think that you're going to get more money by switching to a different provider and making different content for that as well, that's your prerogative. However, the downtrodden, tears in my eyes, I can't live anymore excuse does not apply because of someone's inability to grow and change and evolve. And that's the one thing I just don't understand sometimes when I see some YouTubers. I might have to quit doing YouTube and go get a job. Then that's what you got to do. You may not be able to afford the Ferrari anymore. I mean, sorry to say, but we're not being taken care of. They're under no agreement to take care of you. You know, I've lost a job, not on my own terms, and I didn't feel the same way. You know, there was one particular job in my life where I lost a job of no wrongdoing of my own because of circumstances beyond my control, and I didn't feel that way. I guess that's
Well, it's
I don't know.
beyond your control, so you don't want to really harp on it too much, right?
Well, and that's the thing.
You did everything you could do.
To me, it's the same thing. I mean, these circumstances are beyond a content creator's control. If you're going from $5,000 a month down to $500 a month, you need to change or get a new job. If you have to go work at Starbucks for 25 hours a week to make up the difference, guess what you're doing? And nothing's going to change that. YouTube's not going to magically pull out the wand and go, here's your lost money. Whoa! That's not going to happen. And maybe, that comes off as a little bit of heavy-handed because, I'm not making $5,000 a month on YouTube. But it's coming from someone who has been eliminated from a job from going and making $1,600 a month to nothing because of other factors that did not involve me. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and I guess one of the reasons that I probably, I've argued with you about this particular topic before was just because I tend to be more of a empathic person. So like I feel bad for a lot of people that do get, like work hard and stuff, and they, see bad. I hate seeing bad things happen. I'm the type of person where I like to see everybody happy.
I like to see everybody happy too, but I also understand that things are going to happen and you're going to have to adapt. It's no different than working at a regular job and all of a sudden your position goes out. Your job, your company's out of business. How many times do you hear someone say, well, this is so horrible, I can't live anymore because I lost my job because the job went out of business. The company I worked for went out of business. So it's their fault. They need to fix it. I need to have my money. You see what I mean?
Right.
I've worked in factories where, you work for 6 months and you're off for 2. What are you going to do? Are you gonna blame the company because they have to shut down for 2 months? Or are you gonna pick up and you're gonna go get another job or do something or do day labor for that 2 months? Or are you just gonna sit there and take your unemployment for a couple months? It's almost weird because I keep hearing over and over again, you need to go back to the old algorithm. You need to go back to the old algorithm, the original algorithm of YouTube. Well, how do we know that would even work in today's YouTube landscape? The vastness of content and the vastness of creators, and your content style has changed so much just within the past 5 years. How does anybody even know the original algorithm would work in today's YouTube? It could be even worse. You know what I mean? The constant loop algorithm, even though it pumps current and watching YouTube creators, that's probably one of the best ways for someone to try to sneak into the algorithm to try to get noticed through the literally thousands of uploads per minute that YouTube gets. That might be the only way that people get to see new content. You know what I mean? So it's as much as I feel for people who have to go through a hardship period, and because I've been through plenty myself, jumping on the platform that is making you the money and condemning them for making a legit change seems a little off to me. You know what I mean?
And I will say too, like people that do get 100,000, a million plus or whatever, if you put out good content and stuff, but you're not getting the money that you maybe want from YouTube, yeah, I mean, if you're that good, you'll in general you should be able to do pretty good in life in general, because like those people that watch you will probably follow you wherever you go or whatever you do. I mean, if you're talented, you don't have to worry about anything in general, really.
Yeah, if you're able to cross one medium consistently, try another medium.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people have you seen go from YouTube directly over to Twitch and not miss a beat?
Yeah.
I've seen that quite a bit recently. If your content is good enough and people aren't just clicking to waste time, you are going to see that progression from platform A to platform B. And also, everyone's like, well, click the bell, click the bell, click the bell. Well, someone has 70 notifications or 70 subscriptions. How can you have the bell for every single one? I mean, I'm not sure what the average YouTube watcher has as far as content notifications go and their subscriptions. But I would imagine that your average YouTuber probably has a steady core of about 10 to 15 top YouTubers that they have to watch your video every day. You know what I mean? Like, you're probably thinking like your Jenna Marbles, Onision to a point, Philip DeFranco, and some of those mainliner YouTubers, and even PewDiePie, which we'll talk about PewDiePie in a moment. It's just, as much as some of those people I dislike, like Casey Neistat, they appeal to a group. Guys like Casey Neistat and Philip DeFranco and Onision and Jenna Marbles and iJustine and PewDiePie appeal to a demographic. And PewDiePie has over 50 million subs. I may not like his content, but that means he's doing something right, or he's paying somebody. But
he's shooting himself in the foot, really, with a lot of stuff. He's lost a lot of things.
Like I said, we're going to talk about that here in a moment. There's actually a new story that's probably going to be coming out pretty soon. So we'll make that the last thing we talk about today. But the general YouTubers like that, people hit the bell on. Probably about their top 10 to 15 has probably at least one mainline YouTuber in it. Like I'm subscribed to Onision. I probably lost half my subscriber base there, but I'm a subscriber of Onision because I think he does a lot of good social commentary. If you never watched Onision, he is a very, very good content creator in how he presents his content and how he has this kind of really biting, dry social commentary, and so dry, in fact, that there are some videos that I don't even like. But to me, he works very well as far as his comedy goes.
Look what happened with Howard Stern. He's got everybody to switch to a platform that you paid for.
Exactly. So, but so many people have just their mainline YouTubers that they watch, and then they have 50 others. Not everybody can have 3 million subscribers that watch every single video, or at least 50 to 75% of the subscriber base watches a video. It's very hard to crack that top 10 to top 15, as far as being a content creator goes. So to me, at least, if you're working to become that type of content creator, you are going to switch to Twitch. You are going to do at least one game stream a week. You are going to go to YouNow. You're going to go live at least once a week. You are going to pump out so much content that you're going to hone and just grind this craft down to sharp edges. That way you can maximize every single opportunity that you have.
Yeah.
And some people are like, well, I'm just going to create the same content and I'm just going to get the same amount of views. And if I don't, I'm going to complain about it. It doesn't work that way. So, off of that point, on to PewDiePie.
PewDiePie.
4 days ago on Twitter, Origin PC tweets. It's official. We'd like to welcome the newest member of the Origin PC family, PewDiePie. And then puts out, the thing for a giveaway, blah, blah, blah. Due to PewDiePie's latest round of behavior matched up with his past behavior, I'm not a fan. I wasn't a fan before, but I'm really not a fan now. I find his apologies to be very self-serving and to be very plastic, to use a really general term. Not real, fake. I'm not buying what he's selling as far as apologies go whenever he makes a slip up or an accident. To it, I tweeted, sorry, can't get bored on with this. Deuces, stand against racism, because of the last time he let something slip. He dropped the N-word on one of his...
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. So... The entire back and forth on this particular post is drawing a lot of different types of criticisms and people coming up and trying to, discredit those who don't find PewDiePie to be entertaining or don't support him anymore, no matter how entertaining he would appeal to be. And I do find it funny that he's still, he's almost getting these underground, because Origin PC isn't really a big mainline PC maker. They're more for custom builds and for specific people. But I like to follow them because of how they do their product.
Yeah.
So if you actually went on their Twitter, and I'm not sure how much you're going to see this, but just back and forth and back and forth and back. I probably can't even see that, but you see what I'm doing here. I'm scrolling. I just got I thought it was at the end. I'm not at the end anymore. I'm keeping going. So I find it funny how people can just outwardly set aside his remarks to say, "Oh well, he didn't mean it." So I can't get on board with the Origin anymore. Not
now, what is, for those of your listeners that don't know, and myself included, what is Origin?
It's a PC maker. They do generally custom builds.
Oh, okay.
But that's really the main thing that they do. They have a couple different cases that they use for it, and they specialize in custom. That's really their big thing. So, just a standard online PC maker, kind of like in the vein of iBuyPower and CyberPower. So,
did you ever hear that that guy on YouTube, Barnacules Nerdgasm? He's with that Puget Systems where they do custom computers, but they highly optimize it, where they actually use thermal cameras and stuff to get the performance, a peak performance and the cooling and everything.
I've watched a little bit of Barnacules, but he's mostly with Jay's 2 cents. So
yeah. Were you thinking about getting? Were you going to get a computer made by them or some kind of server or something?
Well, I like to just have different views on the entire kind of landscape, because I also follow a couple other PC makers, so I like to have different types of eyes on different products. Right now we have AMD and Intel and Threadripper and Xeon and all this other stuff, but you also have like custom water blocks, all-in-one water blocks going on stuff too. So I just like to be on top of my tech. If somebody's bringing out something cool that looks awesome, I like to just know about it. That way it's there. And so if someone happens to ask about it, I'm like, oh, well, iBuyPower just came out with this sweet looking all white case that looks like the top of a hot rod racer. You know what I mean? So that's just my preference. I've spent literally hours, no exaggeration, just watching random Linus Tech Tips videos, just so I can learn and find out stuff. And
do you think Apple would ever get into like the liquid cooling for their Mac Pro computers?
I don't know. That's a interesting question. That's
Yeah.
they found the right partner, I guess. But
You haven't heard any news about the new ones, because I know it's supposed to be a different design than the trash can shape.
but I haven't heard much myself. I'm thinking it's probably going to get officially announced at this point at WWDC. So.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think that's about it for the night, my man.
Okay, you don't got anything else going on? Like, what did you say last week? What was some of the stuff going on with your writing and everything?
Just pulling through bullet points and all this other crap, dude. It's I've been working on some different plot points and also mythos. I'm trying to build a mythos and building it from the ground up. So it's very difficult, as most everybody will probably know if they're a writer. If you're building your own mythos literally from the ground up, and I've used this comparison before because I think it fits. You are essentially at some point writing your own Bible, and it's very important if you're writing your own Bible to not screw up Genesis, if you can excuse the comparison there. If you're literally writing a mythology out of nowhere, or like adjusting something to fit your aesthetic, is imperative that every single bit of information that you write has to fit and has to flow with the rest of the mythology. Otherwise, you failed. That's the way I see it. I mean,
yeah,
there are reasons why mythos books are so popular, and how like, for instance, if you go onto the Pottermore website, there is so much information on that website that is never in the books. So much information, so many things that you're seeing from a third-person perspective that, had Pottermore never existed, you never learned about. And some stuff a lot of people don't even care about. Jimmy Susie from Brighton going to the Hogwarts school, and this is their life story up until this point, would have never occurred had it not been for J.K. Rowling building the mythos, building the characters up to such a point where they were literally its own world, its own existing, living, breathing world on paper. Building that type of mythos myself is, to me, it's one of the most important things about the story. Because without the mythos, the story is nothing.
Right, that's true, man.
Without the mythos, everything that's happening in the world that you're trying to build means absolutely nothing, because there's no backbone to it. There's no skeleton to the body that you're building. So,
right.
That's what I've been focusing the most on, and that's why I had to stop myself from writing, because I didn't want to paint myself into a corner to where I'm like, what the heck did I just do? and now I don't have an answer. And now the story is going to have to morph around the mythos, which is the way it should be, in my opinion. So,
yeah, and that's probably also why you one of the reasons why you gave up on that video game is just because this is just too important to your writing and stuff, you know. And you can't just half-ass that, you know.
yeah, that's still something that I'd like to do at some point, just to be able to do a finished one and learn how to code and stuff. But between the YouTube and the story and my horror project that I'm working on, which is probably going to get pushed back again to probably at least summer of next year, depending on what I can do with the business plan, because I'm working, of course, on starting my own business. It's just...
Yeah, I forgot about that. What was going on? Like, what was the progress with that?
I've met with a couple of people, and we're working on some different things. Assuming that we don't have another gym open in the area, because I think that this particular market can really only take one more. Assuming another one doesn't open up, I think we'll be all right. I'm not expecting another one to show up, but then again, you never know around here. So
Right.
we did just have one close, but mostly because I believe the person who owned it did not advertise. You have to let people know that your business exists, otherwise there's nobody coming into the door.
That's true.
I think that's the main reason why that particular business failed, is because the only reason I found out about its existence is because one of the ladies I work with worked out there once. That's it. I would have never knew that this place existed had it not been for one person.
Crazy.
So that's kind of where that is at the moment. If all goes well, I'm looking to have my own gym possibly by this time next year. But that was the plan overall, was hopefully have it by next year. So we'll see what happens.
All right. As far as plugs go, like, you can catch me on the TNT show, the Talk News and Trivia show. Ian Adams is just Ian Adams is my YouTube name. And then for you just want to plug your Iron Addicts or whatever.
Again, yes, Iron Addicts. If you are interested in the Iron Addicts brand, all you got to do is go to ironaddictsbrand.com. Anything that you order right now, if you use my promo code N10DouglasR, you get 10% off your order. And also, if they happen to have any other deals going, which you can check, of course, the Iron Addicts brand Facebook and the Iron Addicts brand Instagram. They have been running specials so often lately. They've actually been running 25-30% off deals. I'm not sure if they're running anything right now. We'll actually double check it for you real quick.
I'm sure they probably are, especially with the Black Friday and stuff coming. But oh yeah, by the way, you catch us usually on Friday nights. Like, if you're trying to get us live on Friday nights at around 9. But sometimes we have to do it on Saturday nights around the same time. Either way, you could catch the recording later. And I think we usually do this show at 10 on Sundays. Is probably pretty consistent, you were saying, along with the other stuff you're trying to do on YouTube.
Yep. I want to make sure that people are able to just, that's what time it is. Let's go.
Yeah. Right.
They are not running special right now. However, they'll probably run something for the Black Friday weekend. Oh, yes.
That'd be sweet.
So, one thing you can do there is, if they happen to have a sale going on with the promo code, you just take my code N10DouglasR and put it in the order notes. That will let them know I sent you. So,
nice.
Follow me on Instagram at AphroditesCrush and also Iron Addicts brand. Of course, AphroditesCrush Entertainment on Facebook and AphroditesCrush on Twitter. Are you seeing a pattern?
Yeah. Right.
All right. So I will see you guys here next couple days with Cardio Confessions. I got something special for that this weekend. Wow. So I will see you guys next time. Goodbye and good night.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Peace, dude. Man, didn't even get in the loot boxes this week, baby.
Nope, started the music. Can't stop it.
Oh, no.
Doug, do some triple point. There you go.